Federalist 41, Part 4, Paragraph 16. Next to the effectual establishment of the Union, the best possible precaution against danger from standing armies is a limitation of the term for which revenue may be appropriated to their support. This Constitution has prudently added, uses the word prudently again. I will not repeat here the observation which I flatter myself have placed the subject in a just and satisfactory light, but it may not be improper to take notice of an argument against this part of the Constitution, which has been drawn from the policy and practice of Great Britain. It is said that the continuance of an army in that kingdom requires an annual vote of the legislature, whereas the American Constitution has lengthened this critical period to 2 years. This is the form in which the comparison is usually stated to the public. But is it a just form? Is it a fair comparison? Does the British Constitution restrain the parliamentary discretion to 1 year? Does the American impose the Congress appropriations for 2 years? On the contrary, it cannot be unknown to the authors of the fallacy themselves that the British Constitution fixes no limit whatever to the discretion of the legislature, and that the American ties down the legislature to 2 years as the longest admissible term. Had the argument from the British example been truly stated, it would have stood thus: the term for which supplies may be appropriated to the army establishment, though unlimited by the British Constitution, has nevertheless, in practice, been limited by parliamentary discretion to a single year. Now, if in Great Britain, where the House of Commons is elected for 7 years, where so great a proportion of the numbers are so elected by so small a portion of the people, where the electors are so corrupted by the representatives, and the representatives so corrupted by the crown, the representative body can possess a power to make appropriations to the army for an indefinite term, without desiring or without daring to extend the term beyond a single year. Ought not suspicion herself to blush in pretending that the representatives of United States, elected freely by the whole body of the people every second year, cannot be safely entrusted with the discretion over such appropriations expressly limited to the short period of 2 years? Okay, this is very important. We have probably mentioned it in one of the other Federalists. One of the things that the new Constitution does, it says you cannot appropriate money for military for longer than 2 years. You cannot give money to military to spend for more than 2 years. And the reason is they wanted to make sure that if there is any wrongdoing by the military or by the representatives or by both, every 2 years there will be an election and there will be a stop to it. You would put a stop to it, and you would not let military get too strong, and where they will, just like the rest of the countries of the world, they will take over the power. Now, he says that some of our critics say that the British system only allows appropriations, money for 1 year. He says, yes, if that were true, you're right, theirs would be better, but that is not true. because he says the parliament there gets elected for every 7 years, and the number of people who vote are so few that if the crown, if the king or his cabinet corrupts these people, you will have for almost 7 years unlimited amount of money going to the military. So our system is much better because you, people of America, every 2 years you will elect your representatives to the House, and if they ever do something that you do not like, you can just vote them out of office and stop the military from getting more funding. So American system is much better. This is very important, so think about it. Okay, the next paragraph. A bad cause seldom fails to betray itself. Of this truth, the management of the opposition to the federal government is an unvaried exemplification. But amongst all the blunders which have been committed, none is more striking than the attempt to enlist on that side the prudent jealousy entertained by the people of standing armies. The attempt has awakened fully the public attention to that important subject and has led to investigations which must terminate in a thorough and universal conviction, not only that the Constitution has provided the most effectual guards against danger from that quarter, but nothing short of a Constitution fully adequate to the national defense and the preservation of the Union can save America from as many standing armies as it may be split into states or confederacies, and from such a progressive augmentation of these establishments in each as will render them a burdensome to the properties and ominous to the liberties of the people as any establishment that can become necessary under a united and efficient government must be tolerable to the former and safe to the latter. So see, we have to stay united, because this way we can be prudent, we can make a wise decision. We'll have an army, but not too big to risk our liberty, but big enough to defend us against invasions or insurrections. However, if we are unwise, if we are foolish enough to become 13 different countries or 3 or 4 different confederacies, there will be distrust amongst us, and each one of us will have armies, each one of us will have navies, the cost will go up, we will stay weak, European powers will take advantage of it, and every way you look at it, it'll be awful for us. The next paragraph says, the palpable necessity of the power to provide and maintain a navy has protected that part of the Constitution against the spirit of censure which has spread few other parts. It must indeed be numbered among the greatest blessings of America that as her union will be the only source of her maritime strength, so this will be a principal source of her security against danger from abroad. In this respect, our situation bears another likeness to the insular advantage of Great Britain. The batteries most capable of repelling foreign enterprises on our safety are happily such as can never be turned by a perfidious government against our liberties. In other words, like I said at the beginning of this paper, one huge advantage he sees is that he says we are like a huge Britain. We are insular. There are no countries bordering us if we unite. There's water, there's an ocean between us and the rest, just like there's water between Britain and the continent of Europe. And that makes it much better, where you create a navy for commerce, and at the same time that navy could come to your defense when needed. could be added to your Navy, the real Navy when needed. You can have sailors when needed, and also you will show have a show of strength to your enemies that might be thinking about attacking you, invading you. So every way you look at it, this union under this Constitution would be to your ultimate advantage. Whereas when we stay united, we point our guns against invading countries, invading navies coming on our shores. But if we don't, we're going to have to turn those guns around on ourselves and spend all that money and energy and weaken ourselves and prepare to be taken advantage of by these British monarchies, Spanish monarchies, and French monarchies.